All right, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, has made some statements that, of course, people that do not respect Deontay Wilder and never did are calling excuses. And I find that this is a wonderful time to have a teachable moment. And what I mean is, there are people that ask me, when are you going to make a video about Deontay Wilder's excuses? So I thought that I would do that, but do it in a way where even people like you guys can walk away having learned a slight distinction between two words. But let's get into that in this video. All right, welcome back. Okay, so commentators are coming to my page and asking me when I'm going to do a video about Deontay Wilder's excuses that he has for the loss to Tyson Fury. So I thought, hey man, I should probably do that. Because when I hear somebody say something and give a reason why they think something happened, I always section them into one or two things. Either something is an excuse or it is an explanation. So the question that I address here is whether Deontay Wilder is giving excuses or whether he is giving his explanation of what happened. Is that fair enough? There are two words. One is excuse. The second is explanation. So I always do this with people when I say, how do you present an argument? I say, well, okay, this is how you typically should produce an argument if you want to make rational sense and have somebody clearly see what you're saying. You say, what is the issue? I just gave you the issue. Whether what Deontay Wilder said is an explanation or whether it is an excuse. So since that's the question, I know some of you guys aren't that quick, so I think I rewind a couple seconds and go back to what I said. Whether what Deontay Wilder said is an explanation or whether it is an excuse. So let's just go to the plain dictionary definition of the two words. The dictionary definition defines excuse as a defense, a justification, and an alibi. Whereas explanation is clarification, account, and enlightenment. And it means that when we are trying to right our wrongs and be accountable for our behavior, an explanation is the right action. An excuse is not. So that is the rule. Did Deontay Wilder, when he said, and we're going to take two examples in this conversation since you asked for it. One will be a situation where Deontay Wilder said, I have a 40-pound weight. I wore a 40-pound outfit into the ring. I walked the length of the hallway. I walked up the stairs. And by the time I got done, my legs were tired. Is that an explanation or is that an excuse? Now, is it a clarification? Is it a count and enlightenment? Or is it a defense, a justification, and an alibi? Well, I would say that would mean, let's apply it to this circumstance. Deontay Wilder saying, I made a mistake. I put on a 40-pound weight on my shoulders, walked 150 yards up the stairs, lifted, jumped, put my foot over the top rope. And by the time I got done with all that, I had taken a lot of energy out of my legs. I felt tired when I got into the ring from doing that. Now, who when you say account clarification, account, and enlightenment, and maybe are you being accountable for your behavior? Well, who is it that asked Deontay Wilder to go to put that 40-pound weight on his back and walk with it? If Deontay Wilder said that my manager made me and Mark Breland made me and somebody else made me do that, then he might be making an excuse because he is trying to pass up the accountability for his own actions. But if he is saying, I made a dumb mistake, I put on this big ass heavy thing, I got tired and I felt it. That, my friends, is an explanation. Yeah, I think that had something to do with it. It is not because it's an action that he's holding himself responsible for. He didn't blame anybody else for doing it. He blamed himself. So when you listen to people and they tell you what happened, not everything they say is an excuse. When somebody gives a reason for something, why something bad happened, it's not always an excuse. It's an excuse if it doesn't have any relationship to them taking accountability for what they did and working towards changing that themselves. Now, let's say, and I was very specific, and making sure I said, if Deontay Wilder is saying that the Nevada State Athletic Commission had 5 stairs up, the ring ropes were too high, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, made me do these things, and then, okay, that could be an excuse because maybe the other guy has the same issue that you have. But in the case of Deontay Wilder admitting that he put some big heavy thing on there that might have actually constricted his breathing too. So he's not only just walking with a 40-pound weight vest on him, and he's got some mask over his face where it's affecting his intake of his air right before he's got to go into a fight. And he says, man, that was just really stupid for me to do. I can't believe I did it. It's not an excuse. It's an explanation because he's taking accountability for what he did. So thank you for asking me that question. And my answer is, I don't even think that's an excuse. I think that that's an explanation. I think that that's him looking around to try to figure out what he can do and what he shouldn't do next time to get another outcome to the fight. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, when you lose a fight, there's reasons why you lost the fight. Either I need to keep my hands up, or how did you get knocked out, man? I didn't pull my left hand back fast enough. It got caught out there. He caught me. I got knocked out. That is not an excuse. That's an explanation. When Bam Bam Rios got knocked out by Danny Garcia, and Brandon Rios said, "Oh man, I left my hand out there too long, and I was lazy getting my guard back, and he countered me off my lazy jab." That's an explanation. That's no different than him saying than the situation with Deontay Wilder walking up a flight of steps with a 40-pound air constricting weight vest on, which when I saw it, I thought to myself, that's stupid. Why do you have that shit on? I thought that the first time he walked out with a mask like that. Why? The show's not worth it. That's my thing. And I thought that, not anything he said. I thought that when I saw it, like, why? Tyson Fury, on the other hand, didn't even waste his legs going to the ring. He was literally carried. So the two of those things were opposite. Tyson Fury didn't put any wear and tear on his legs walking in the ring. He didn't even walk in the ring. He was carried there. He took 3 steps up. Deontay Wilder carried a 40-pound vest, walking on his feet all the way over there, then jumped up into the ring. Deontay, now that you recognize that, the next fight you have, don't do that. Right? But the simple fact that he tells you that he made that mistake doesn't make it an excuse. Just again, makes it a clarification, as long as what he's doing is putting the blame on himself. Okay? As long as what he's doing is putting the blame on himself. Now, as far as the fight getting stopped too early by Mark Breland, is that an excuse? I don't believe that it is, because that is looking at an action of somebody else that he disagreed with. He says, hey man, I didn't want him to do that. I feel like he was influenced by somebody else to do that. I don't like Mark Breland's decision. That's not an excuse. All that is again, an explanation of why he's going to let Mark Breland go, because he didn't appreciate what Mark Breland did. He wanted to be able to be knocked out. He wanted to fight until it was over without a doubt in his mind. That's not an excuse. That is an explanation of the reason why he did something. So let's do another parallel with the legs, because I want to make sure I see this. Now, as much credit as people are giving Crunk Jim, right? Do you remember a fight between Thomas Hearns and Marvelous Marvin Hagler, right? Went similar to this Deontay Wilder deal, and went similar to it in this way. After the fight was over, Emmanuel Stewart said that he was pissed off that somebody had rubbed out the legs of Thomas Hearns. And when Thomas Hearns got into the ring and walked into that ring, he felt like his legs were gone because somebody has rubbed his legs out. They took all the tension out of his legs, and that's why he wound up getting knocked out by Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So was that Emmanuel Stewart making an excuse or giving an explanation for poor performance? Well, if they said it was my team that did that, I let my team do that. I had a guy in there that didn't know what he was doing, and he wore my fighter's legs out, and I got rid of him, and it's never going to happen again. That is him giving an explanation for a mistake that he believes that he made. So there's your video on what my comments on excuses coming out from Deontay Wilder. I think you guys need to understand the fundamental definition of the word excuse versus explanation. Because all you're doing is you're using explanation. Your definition, your working definition of an excuse is an explanation that you don't like from a person that you don't like. It is what it is. There's reasons why problems happen. You could have not worked out. You could have not been in shape. You could have had the flu. You could have had a broken arm. You could have had it. You could have been on doing drugs for 2 years and blowing up to 400 pounds and had mental issues, and that's why you were out of the ring for 2 years and why you got dropped and almost knocked out in the first fight. Is that an explanation or is that an excuse? It's an excuse if it's pointed the responsibility to somebody else. It is an explanation if you put that responsibility on yourself. Pick up a dictionary, people. It's not that hard. Anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace. By the way, Bomb Squad. I'm out, man. Peace.